Welcome to our Aerial Yoga Netherlands podcast. I'm Janneke van Amersfoort, the creator mom. In this podcast, we will discuss topics of the healing journey that the hammock reveals. After many years of experiencing the therapeutic effects of the aerial hammock, I want to go beyond the acrobatic stuff with you. Did you know that the hammock can make your life lighter? Let's talk about it now. Hi, welcome to our new podcast, and today I want to introduce you to our Yin instructor, Nanda. Hello.
Hi.
Happy that you're here.
Thank you.
Can you introduce yourself?
Of course. I'm Nanda. I'm an aerial teacher mostly, and also a yoga teacher. I have a small studio in Amsterdam. I'm also an elementary school teacher and a former dancer. And for me, this is what brings everything together.
Because what brings it together for you? Because when we met, of course, we both have a dancing background. So we like to play and move, that's for sure. But we needed to find some peace of mind too. So
Right.
What was it that was, how did you experience the first time in the hammock?
Well, that immediately drew me into the aerial because as a dancer I was missing in my regular yoga classes the playfulness. Mm-hmm. I also had trouble finding a sort of rest or, like you said, peace of mind. And I could do regular yoga classes, but the playfulness of the hammock gave me the joy and was like the passing into learning more about my body, I guess, in a different way. As a dancer, you're sort of strict in like, I can do this, there are also my limitations, and I never be a dancer like this, but growing older, getting children, the hammock gave me that opportunity to discover more about myself, first of all, but also about my body and my possibilities and my limitations, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, so the hammock gives you a lot of feedback, actually.
Actually, yes.
So
yeah.
what is happening in the body, in the system, and what is the body in need for, like the urge of movement.
Right, yeah.
And also the urge of finding some peace of mind.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes, exactly that. And that's what I developed through all those years of first practicing aerial yoga, then becoming an aerial yoga teacher and getting more experienced in teachers and learning from the students that I'm teaching. Is the hammock is, like what you'd say in the therapy, is more like a mirror. It's just some days it gives that resistance and that you're really struggling, and other days, you have that easy flow, and you see that back in the hammock. You feel that later on in your body, and but always with that fun bit, that swinging and that playfulness. That's exactly I think the key word in everything.
And I think you found a beautiful balance in doing the aerial flow with the hammock high and the playfulness, and also combining the yin, bringing the yin into the hammock. Can you explain how is the hammock different than the other tools you use for yin normally?
Well, the yin for a long time was kind of a big struggle for me. And I tried to use that playfulness into the yin to sort of get rid of that resistance, which is actually funny because the hammock gives you that extra plus, that resistance in the yin practice. And I found that really interesting, but talking to my students, and often they say the words that I'm like, oh yeah, I experienced that too. That's so interesting. It's always like going back and forth with your students. You learn so much from your students, from their bodies, but also from their experience. Then I thought, it's easier to relax into a pose. And I got some students that are really, they really want to get the full stretch out of something. And sometimes that's different with the hammock. They can get deeper in the pose, but they're also feeling their limitations, so they're struggling there. especially people that are really flexible. And it took me a while, but I see that also in my students, that it's really hard to give in into a yin pose. And somehow the aerial hammock is just the magic key to surrender. Or I often call it like melting or something. And again, the hammock can push you and help you. And I find that very beautiful. It's just that massaging, deep tissue massaging point of the hammock, and it's the playing with the fascia, because in the yin we work on the fascia a lot. And in every pose, if it's a forward bend or a back bend or any, a stretch for your glutes, it's just the hammock gives you that extra bit of massaging point, which I like a lot. And apparently the students too. So that's, and for me, getting into the aerial yin is, I always struggled with, I always give that example, with saddle pose, because that's really not my pose. When I start doing yin, I had to use 3 bolsters and 10 blocks, and I don't know, people were actually, the whole attention went to me because I had really had trouble stretching my quads. And then laying backwards in the hammock, I thought, oh my gosh, this is too easy. I don't need other props. I have my hammock. And I'm very enthusiastic about it. And I actually found that a lot of people have the same experience. And of course, there's people that like saddle pose lovers, and they often don't have to use the hammock, because then it's actually, they stay too high up. I found actually a different solution for that. But it's the massaging together with the stretching and getting the relaxing into the hammock that makes the yin more profound for me, and also for the students. And even the solution of a rebound, which is always laying on the mat, on your belly, or your side, or your back in a yin class. And now in the hammock, we sometimes lay in the hammock, but sometimes we just have our ankles in the hammock. And bringing your legs a little higher gives already something different to the whole rebound experience. So I love and talking about the playfulness, I do that in the yin too. Yin tends to be really, because you need to go inward, and but with the hammock sometimes people step in a different way. I wouldn't say a wrong way, but we giggle, we laugh, and you learn because of the hammock. On the moment you're in and you feel that resistance of the hammock, you can still draw the attention inward. It doesn't have to be that whole, the whole hour or hour and a half have to be inward, often yin classes have. Yeah. And, I think we go in and out.
Yeah, playing with the hammock to see also where you can put the hammock in different places and get the feedback, what is my body in need for, to find your proper yin pose.
Exactly.
So maybe what is for you the magic in the saddle pose can be for somebody else
in a forward bend or something. Exactly.
Or whatever. Finally I can do this pose.
Exactly. There's so many possibilities. A bolster is just a bolster, and a hammock is just a moving, stretching. It does. No, it's.
Well, the bolster is there to fill up the empty space, and I think in the hammock it's more welcoming or supporting you in a different way. It's okay, I'll lift you up so you can surrender and give in, and at the same time the gravity will also push you deeper, or let you sink deeper, or melt deeper, as you call it. Yeah, nice.
And it's a partner the whole class through. That's what I like. A bolster or a block you put aside and you use it for certain poses, and the hammock is there. Even to just put your head in, or it's the whole class there. And of course, I start the class always in a different way, but the ending is sort of the same. I always give the people the option. You can just do your savasana on the mat, no problem, with your ankles in the hammock. But no way. They're not going to lay in the hammock in the savasana. I just love, and even, people that don't like to swing, it's just the touch of the hammock around your body, helps already drawing you inwards and give you that sense of surrendering.
Explain a little bit more about, because you talk about fascia, but maybe not everybody knows what is fascia. Why would we massage fascia?
Yeah, that's a good thing. Fascia is, of course, that whole matrix of your body. Potentially everything is built of fascia, even your bones, although they're calcified. Fascia is everywhere. So it's like I said, I use that word matrix a lot. It's even, covering your head, but it's also in the inside of your body. It's just in your, around your organs, around your heart and your lungs. And stimulating the fascia, which is, some people call it connective tissue, which is, I like that word too, because it's that connective. It connects everything. It's where the meridians run through, and what it does in yin, it's by stretching or compressing or massaging, you draw the water molecules into the cells, which keep your joints and your whole skin and actually your whole connective tissue flexible. So it's a collagen, people put it on their faces and there's all creams with that, but working with the hammock, doing yin and getting a massage, you're getting it for free indeed. So that's the plus of the hammock there, and it keeps you healthy, and that's actually what you would like.
Tissue, I think is interesting is it's connecting, but actually you also want to disconnect, because sometimes the fascia is a bit tight and stuck with your skin and the muscles. So how the hammock is massaging, it's more freeing.
Exactly.
So you give more space.
And you have that in a regular yin class too. But because we use the hammock, it's always somewhere. Even maybe just around your ankles. I do like a hamstring stretch, just your ankle in, and you come to a forward bend. So the hammock is just there. But even there, that point is massaging your fascia in that area. And sometimes you even don't notice it so much. But I think it's so much that extra effect that's very helpful in your yin practice. And I'm sure also with the hammock high, with the more active form, you also massage your fascia. You work more on your muscles, like what you do in the yang, and in the yin you work more on your joints. And the fascia is everywhere.
But I think also in the that a lot of stress is stored in the fascia where we get stuck. So that's also a reason of giving it free that part. Do you think, because a lot of people say, oh no, don't you have to be flexible for yoga? And I will say no. Maybe you become more flexible. That's the intention. This is an important part what I think the hammock can support.
Right.
So it's there for everybody, literally, big, small.
The way you're built.
Flexibly.
Well, my training was in a functional yoga teacher training, and I really stand for that, especially after my dance career, where you have to be really in poses the way they're supposed to look. Copy paste, and if you don't fit in, you're out in a very extreme way. Of course, it's not like that. I found like a dance career that, with my body and my limitations, I could still be a dancer. But maybe because of that, I love the way that you look at your body. And I always say that in class: every bone in every body is different. And we work with that. We work with our possibilities, we work with our limitations. And you can become more flexible, but some people never, because their bone build is in a different way. But that doesn't mean you can't do yoga. I think every sport, every yoga, every part or every dance technique you can do, but with your body. And the hammock helps, I think, first of all, I think with the hammock and also with the yin and with the yoga, it helps you to become more aware of your body. And that's why I love yin, because you take the rebounds. You don't keep running and going on. You take the rebound, so you become more aware of your body. And with the help of the hammock, you know, it makes it just easier. It makes it more challenging. It makes it more fun. Yes. It definitely makes it more fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my. I do see students that think like, yeah, it's not for me, and that's totally fine. You know, it's also a challenge. So I always invite people to at least come twice, because the first time you have to work with the hammock, you have to, you know how to get in and get out, and especially with the yin, people try to be so relaxed as possible. So then maybe getting into a back bend on your shoulders is maybe a lot of hassle the first time, because you have to follow the instructions. But you know, I think most people see the benefits and do come back.
Yeah. Well, you have to become friends with the hammock. That's what I always say.
For sure.
And then the hammock will guide you through everything.
Yeah.
But I think it's a lot about trust, don't you think?
It's definitely about trust. Yeah.
And that for sometimes it takes a while to gain trust in the hammock, in the teacher, but also in yourself.
In yourself. Well, that's where the trust starts, you know.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's amazing when you reach that point to surrender, or you become a better version of yourself, or you become more flexible or easier.
And or maybe that small obstructions that you have somewhere in your body, in your fascia, if that gets slowly sort of dissolved, that's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then we didn't even talk a lot about the meridians, but that's another thing we can talk for age, but the time's already. We do another podcast
about meridians.
Do you mind?
Oh yeah, they're running through the fascia. I can do that quite short. They're running through the fascia, and like I'm not a Chinese medicine practitioner. I didn't study that, but what I in the teacher training, the part of the yin and the meridians, we look at the target areas, and of course we look at where the meridians are running, but more in a fascia way. And which poses help certain meridians and the connections to the organs, of course. We make the connections to the seasons and also to the type of people or person you are. So it's in that sense, it's a little bit more general. You know, if you want to really get into knowing Chinese medicine, I'm always quite honest about that, then you need to go and study that. Yeah. You know, but the way I use it in class, we just look at like the gallbladder meridian will run slowly on the side, so all the side stretches are suitable for if you want to work on that. And it's just for me a base of how I prepare my class. And that's what I do in the teacher training. I said, you know, you can have different ways of preparing a class. That's actually what we do a lot in both weekends.
Now you talk about the Aerial Yin instructor training, right?
Yeah, exactly. We talk about how to prepare a class, but
how to guide your students, how to look at different body types.
Exactly. Yeah, make it in a functional way so it's suitable for everybody. That's actually my main message.
Yeah, how we can put the hammock in different ways that it will help you the best possible way. Yeah. One more thing, because also another way of talking about meridians is about energy channels. So how you can channel your energy, and where is it stuck and where is it flow and where is it connected. What I think is interesting in the yin, because some people, like dancers, for instance, are already very flexible and shouldn't have to stretch very deep. But do you agree that for them it's more about the meridian stretch or stimulation and the meditation that will give different results than, for instance, a stiff person that is really working to create more space in the joints?
And everybody needs to find their yang or their yin in them in themselves, and it's just finding that balance. Exactly. For very young and very flexible people, that doesn't have to go together. They get something else out of the the class sometimes, and that's good. And on the end, yoga is all about getting your body ready for meditation. So that's we need the hammock for. Well, I do.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, if you want to join an Aerial Yin instructor training, you will join with Nanda. She will give you all the insights to become a beautiful instructor or to understand your own practice in the hammock better. I think that's it.
Of course.
And it is for every person. Yeah, so you don't have to be an instructor. You don't have to be flexible. Nanda will tell you everything, how the hammock works the best possible way for you. Yeah. So, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And see you next time.
Thank you.